Hello, I'm Matt Polley, and this is my preview video for the third and final day of the Grand National Meeting 2021, featuring the Grand National 2021. Before we look at tomorrow's racing, we'll just have a quick recap on our selections from today, Friday, the second day, from our video that was posted last night. So the first race, we got off to a fairly good start. Our selections were Mr. Coffee and Don Levant each way. Mr. Coffee ended up running on and finishing fourth. He was outpaced. He's definitely still ahead of his mark, and he'll be winning races for sure. And Don Levant was our selection each way, and he ran a fine race. Finishing fast to finish second at an SP of 18-1, but I think he was slightly bigger than that last night when we posted the video. So that was a good, profitable first race for us. The second race was the Grade 1 Top Novice Hurdle. Our selection, Dusart, great big horse. Had a lot of time off the track after just one start. One winning start at Newbury. He looked very green and ring rusty, and was pretty much off the bridle throughout the whole race. He actually did really well to still be in with a small chance at the last. He's a really nice horse going forward. Looks like he'll definitely want further than a sharp 2 miles on good ground, but he got beat, not beaten far. He's definitely a horse with a future. Belfast Banter, the county hurdle winner, won that. Another success for Ireland. The Novice Chase, Chantry House, another one of our selections. He won this race, but was he a fortunate winner? The Kim Bailey horse fell 2 out when it still looked like he might have had Chantry House's measure, although in the post-race interview, Nico de Bonville was convinced that Chantry House definitely would have found something when asked. But to be fair, I thought the Kim Bailey horse might have had him covered at the time, but you never know, do you? And anyway, he won. That was the 11-8 winner. Then our next selection was in the Marsh Chase, registered as the Melling Chase. Our selection in this was Fakir Duderie, and he obliged for us at 2-1. He's a lovely little horse. He's only 6. He's such an honest horse. Does his best every time, jumps well, handles most grounds, and as we said in the video, he was the most solid option here. And when I watched the race, he just looked like they were going quick enough for him, and but I think that's the thing I like about him most of all. He races slightly behind the bridle, but when they turned in and Mark Walsh grabbed hold of him, he really did find something, and he was an impressive winner in the end, I thought. So yep, another winner for us there. And then we come to the Topham Chase over the national fences. We put up 2 in this at big prices, huge prices last night. Corto Rica, who never featured in the race at any point. It's always tricky getting good starts in these races, and as we've said before, particularly on this ground, you can't give ground away. You need to be up there in the first half dozen to 10. You need to try and stay as handy as you could, and he simply didn't get a good start. And the writing was on the wall for Corto Rico pretty much after the first fence. But our other big each way selection price, Pink Eyed Pedro, just for a brief second approaching the last, and maybe just before they got to the elbow, he had a definite chance of winning that race. He was beaten by a classier horse in Live, Love, Laugh, who was given a good ride by Patrick Mullins. Always in the front rank, jumped beautifully, the winner. all of the way round. Just for a split second, Pink Eye Pedro closed him down going to the last, and just maybe for a few strides after the last, as I said, maybe, he might have picked him up, but he was a gallant second, Pink Eye Pedro, and a SP of 33-1 gave us a nice return. But like I said, I think he was a bigger price last night, so that was another good race for us there. And in the Doombar Sefton Novice Hurdle, Grade 1, shock winner here for the Lucinda Russell Yard, Ahoy Senor. No fluke about it though. Looks a really nice horse, and conditions obviously suited today, and he was a game winner. We had Streets of Doyen in that. He finished a well beaten fourth. Maybe Cheltenham took the edge off. Maybe it was just a bit too quick for him round there. We thought he'd enjoy the good ground, and we thought he'd be staying on strongly at the finish, but just a little bit too much of a speed test for him. He plugged on. We didn't really have any firm opinions in the last conditional and amateur riders race. We thought Leon Cavallo might run well. He did run well. He finished fourth. He was in there with a shout at the last, but just couldn't find any extra. So all in all, a fairly good day yesterday. 2 winners and 2 big priced placed horses. Not a bad effort. So that brings us on to tomorrow, Grand National Day. Some competitive looking racing on the card. I can't imagine the ground's going to be any different than it was today. They're just putting a little bit of water on to maintain for safety reasons. They might put a little bit more on the Grand National course for obvious reasons, but I think it's pretty much going to be status quo as far as the ground's concerned. So tomorrow we start off with a Grade 3 stay-in handicap hurdle. Top weight, 13-year-old, you know what I mean, Harry, former Stayers hurdle winner. Leap of Faith, he's got a good conditional on. Kevin Brogan claims the 5, and he'll like the ground, and he's won at Aintree before, but wow, it'd be some performance if he won this. So we're going to look elsewhere. Going to pick up on a couple of horses here. An unexposed horse who's yet to run over this trip, but I think it won't have any issues for him, particularly on the ground. His Hometown Boy, trained by Stuart Edwards, who won the last race on the card today with Roland Ward. He looks a nice progressive horse, young horse. 137 doesn't look insurmountable mark, and I think he could go really well. But the one I really do fancy in this is a horse called Stony Mountain, who has had his issues, there's no doubt about it. He was purchased from Trevor Hemmings, used to own him. He was purchased from Trevor Hemmings' dispersal sale. There was enough money spent on him, 140,000 I believe. I think he was purchased to go chasing. He's had 2 cracks at that without much success, and they've decided to bring him back hurdling. He's coming back off a break. He did actually win a really competitive handicap hurdle at Haydock. Getting up close home stamina is his forte, and I think he'll like the ground. He's run here twice and won twice. I don't think he's got much in hand from a handicapping point of view, but a return to this course on some decent ground, they're gonna hopefully go a decent pace here. So stamina to the fore, and I think Stony Mountain has got a cracking chance in this race, and he's a fresh horse. He comes here a fresh horse, and hopefully he'll do the business for us. So Stony Mountain and Hometown Boy in the first, which moves us on to the Betway Mersey Novice Hurdle Grade 1. Clash between Ireland and England again in here, with the 2 at the head of the market. Well, we know that from previous evidence of Cheltenham and already at Aintree, that there's no doubt that the Irish hold the upper hand here, and in this race I'm not about to desert the Irish, because I think Ballyadam, although having been soundly beaten by Appreciate It 3 times, we all know how good Appreciate It is, judged on his display at Cheltenham. Ballyadam, I think he's going to improve for this step up to 2.5. I think the ground is in his favour, good ground. I think essentially there's, it's a bit strange to suggest that there's maybe only 2 horses in this race with a chance. It's a Grade 1 after all, but for me this is between Ballyadam and My Drogo. My Drogo has been brought along reasonably steadily. He's a big horse, fantastic looking horse, dark bay horse, almost black. He's a really nice horse, but based on what we've seen from the Irish against the English so far, in terms of especially novice hurdlers, I'm going to stick with Ballyadam here in the Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore camp. I just think he just could have too much speed over this 2.5 on this course, on this ground. The other one we have to mention is Drill Deal, who has been an absolute phenomenon this season. I think he won a handicap hurdle off a mark of 80. He's also won on the flat off a mark of 40 something. This horse has improved an incredible amount, and I think if you'd have said at the start of the season Drill Deal would be third favourite for a Grade 1 novice hurdle, I think I'm not sure many people have believed you, but here he is. He's reached a rating of 145, but is this a step too far? Possibly. Just think Ballyadam's got a little bit too much class for these, so he'll do for me in the Mersey Novice Hurdle, which then moves us on to a novice chase, a 2-mile novice chase, the McGull Novice Chase. Well, I don't think we're going to have to spend too long analysing this, because Shishkin bids to follow up his facile Arkle victory, and quite frankly, if he doesn't, something's gone massively wrong, because he's got £19 in hand to his nearest rival. He's only got 4 opponents, all of which, without being I don't like being, there's no need to be disrespectful to other horses and their connections, but I think it takes a massive leap of faith to imagine that any one of those 4 horses potentially could win a Grade 1 race. So it's Shishkin bar an accident, and basically how far. There can't be any other outcome. If you're one for forecasts, I suggest that the horse in the best form outside of Shishkin at the moment is Funambule Sivela, and he's highly likely to chase Shishkin home, I imagine. I wasn't going to imagine that the Venetia Williams horse would enjoy the quicker ground when he won last time, but he bolted up, and that's obviously no issue to him. So Shishkin to beat Funambule Sivela, I would imagine. Which then takes us on to the Ryanair Stayers Hurdle. A lot of horses here, coming off the back of a Cheltenham run. It's a competitive race. There's 15 runners, and it's a good quality. It's a proper Grade 1. It's a good quality race, no doubt about that. You've got a few horses as per usual chancing their arm to pick up the pieces should anything happen. Horses at the head of the market. Paisley Park, Time Hill, obviously. They've been the horses on everyone's lips so far this season in terms of staying hurdles. Paisley Park ran a good race at Cheltenham, there's no doubt about it, but we've mentioned before, what do those races take out of these horses at Cheltenham? It's anyone's guess, isn't it? He had a hard race that day. He was off the bridle from a long way out, and he kept plugging away, and he managed to run on into third. And if I'm honest, a good ground 3 miles round here, is he just going to hit one too many flat spots in this? I think he's worth taking on. And Time Hill obviously missed the Stayers Hurdle at Cheltenham due to a setback. I don't know. There may be some of you out there know why. I'm not sure why you know, when horses miss intended races for whatever reason and then reappear a short time later. We had it with Song for Someone, didn't make the champion hurdle lineup and then ran no race on the Thursday. Politolog ran okay up to a point today, but was soundly beaten in the end. He was obviously withdrawn before the start of the champion chase. Combine that with the fact that Philip Hobbs's horses are in and out. I mean, he had one run well in the last, but Sporting John ran no race today, and a lot of his horses have unfortunately been running like that. So, you know, if you're taking out the top two in the market there, that pretty much leaves it wide open. Next in is Roxana. For me personally, I think she should have run in the Stayers Hurdle instead of the Mares Hurdle. I think this is much more her trip. I think she'll be fine on the ground. She's definitely got a chance. She has a chance, no doubt. So what are we going to go for? That doesn't leave us with many options, does it? Really, we're kind of guessing a little. No firm predictions in this, but even though she's arguably, I think she's probably worse off at the weights in the race, I could see Indefatigable, who like the ground. She'll definitely stay. She's she has got some. She's got something to find at the weights, but I think the ground will be in her favour. She's had another wind up, which may help. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe Indefatigable each way, but no real firm thoughts on that. But there's question marks over an awful lot of these in this race, so it wouldn't be the biggest surprise if there was a little shock. So we'll go for Indefatigable to provide that shock. And then we move on to a 3-mile handicap chase, Grade 3. Interesting race. Holds top notch at the head of the weights there. Honourable little horse. He's a small horse to be carrying lumps of weight, but he's got Luca Morgan, who claims 7, which will help, and the ground will definitely help. Could see him running well. Happy Go Lucky. If you watched any of my Cheltenham videos, I put him up alongside Vintage Clouds in the same race at Cheltenham. They finished 1st and 2nd. Happy Go Lucky ran a fine race. He's still a novice. 149 is still definitely within his compass. I have a slight doubt about him on a flat 3 miles on good ground. That would be my only concern. He just hit a couple of flat spots at Cheltenham, and that would just about be enough to put me off him here. So as an alternative selection, we're going to go for Spirit of the Games for Dan and Harry Skelton. We tipped him up in our Cheltenham videos for the per temps. We thought at strong pace, drop him in. He doesn't always go through with his effort when presented with it after the last, but we thought that race would be run to suit. We thought it'd be Helter Skelter. He'd get buried in amongst the horses, arrive at the last without even knowing he was in a race, and hopefully grab a place. But I think it was arguably the slowest run per temps I've seen in a long time, and it just didn't play to his strengths that day. He sat last. He was trying to make ground when the front runners were quickening, and he probably did okay to run on into 8th that day. But I think he'll like the ground here. He's not as well handicapped over fences as he is over hurdles, but hopefully, if they do go a proper gallop here, which I think they probably will, hopefully Harry will be able to smuggle him into the race and get a bit of cover and hopefully do the business for us. So Spirit of the Games in the Betway Handicap Chase. And then that leads us on to the feature, the Randox Grand National. So what are we going to go for here? There's been a lot of money recently for Disco Rama. Cloth Cap's obviously been all the rage for this since his Hennessy victory. He's a horse that definitely likes good ground. He won good ground at Newbury that day. It was really impressive. Then he's followed that up with a victory at Kelso. You know, there's lots to like about him. There really is. I mean, he's got a really nice race and weight off 10.5, 148. Again, you know, is a nice rating for him. He ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't he? The owner, the trainers. The trainers won the race. The owners won the race. They know what it takes. You know, there's lots to like about him, but obviously that's reflected in his price. And do you want to be taken 4-1 about a horse winning a Grand National, even though, as we know, it's been reduced in trip. The fences have been reduced in size. It's not quite the challenge it was. It's become slightly more predictable these days, albeit, you know, things will happen. They are horses at the end of the day. But even still, 4-1, I'm tempted to look elsewhere. So in that respect, you've got horses at the head of the weights like Bristol Demai, Chris's Dream, Yalarenki. Now, this ground, in my opinion, is going to be too quick for all of those three. Carrying weights on good ground is much easier than carrying weight on soft ground. But as we've explained before, even though this race is over 4.25 miles, it pays to be handy. You need to be in the first half of the field by the time you get to Beecher's first time. And I just can't help feeling that Bristol Demai, Chris's Dream, Yalarenki, the three horses that head the weights are just going to be found out on this ground. So for me, that rules out them. Now, the second thing we bring into the equation is, do you need experience of these fences, of this test? Now, some horses have run in the Grand National, come back and won it. Some horses have run well in a national, come back and haven't enjoyed it again the second time they've experienced it. And then generally the horses that haven't run in the Grand National are usually the best handicapped horses. But then you've got the dilemma of, will they take to it? If they take to it, they're well handicapped. If they don't take to it, they're not going to win anything. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to take a horse that has run well in it before, and I'm going to take a horse that's never run in it and hopefully might be well handicapped. So my first selection of a horse that's run it before and has been obviously targeted at this race, again, is Magic of Light for the Harrington team, and Robbie Power takes the ride. She's got a nice racing weight of 10.13. She ran a blinder in it 2 years ago. This has been the target obviously since that very day, and basically she's ran in a couple of races recently to keep her ticking over that she's got no chance of winning. So this has been the target. This is what she's been primed for, and if she's got out of bed the right side, then I think she could definitely be in the frame again. And the other one I like, this is the horse that hasn't run in the race that might be well handicapped, is Milan Native for the Denise Foster stroke Gordon Elliott team for Gigginstown, ridden by top amateur Jamie Codd. This horse is a Cheltenham Festival winner. He's got some very good back form, some classy form. He ran at Cheltenham this time around. He ran okay. Jumping wasn't that fluent, which is obviously a slight concern as he's going to approach these fences for the first time. But that wasn't a bad run, and I think some of his back form is very good. And I think 149 is a good mark. He's only an 8-year-old still. He's had another wind up, which may help. I think the good ground will help, especially if he has a slight breathing issue. I don't think there's any issues with his stamina whatsoever, and I think particularly on this ground you need a touch of speed as well to be able to lay up. And I just think he ticks a lot of boxes. I think he's got a good profile for this type of race. He's got a lovely racing weight of 10-6. Like I said, he's only an 8-year-old, and he certainly won't be wanting any more assistance from the saddle than he gets from Jamie Codd. So slightly speculative, but having cast my eye over most of these, I'm going to take a chance with Milan Native. So Grand National 2021, Magic of Light, and Milan Native, and that pretty much sums it up. There is a bumper, a Grade 2 bumper that runs after the National, and there's a lot of unexposed promising types in this. I think Nicky Henderson's got a short price favourite in Balco Coastal, but I think if you're taking about 11 to 8 about a horse in a race such as this, then I think that's slightly risky, as Eileen Dover proved in the bumper earlier on in the meeting. So that brings us to a close of the Grand National Meeting 2021. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed the videos. Good luck with whatever your national selection is tomorrow, and let's hope they all come back safe and sound. Thank you.